I think Seb is coming as well. Oh, I heard Pete. I heard the audio of Pete. Yeah, I did. And I think he can hear my audio. Oh, he's muted it. I see the mute portion in the corner now. Let's speak. Because they're doing their scrap sessions, you know. Give it like 5 seconds and then we'll start. I don't think many people have seen this run. Only you seen this one. The Golden Line run. 2015. Yeah, because I think you lot, meaning if the Wolves are there, there's a very interesting finale. Look at this. What's this? Right, 2 more minutes. In fact, let me just get some more time. Not start, right? Okay. Okay, I'm gonna give it 1 more minute. 5 past and we'll start us. Sebastian. Okay. Right. Yeah, if you want to ask me questions, ask questions. I'm gonna let the video play a bit longer than before, and I'm gonna still show technique and stuff. Okay. Okay. Let's start now because it's 5 past. So let's walk. So today we're gonna go over mostly just Gordon Ryan's 2015 run at lightweight. And yes, I said lightweight, which means he's 155 in these videos, which is a bit ludicrous knowing what size of the geezer is now. Okay, so first match is pretty quick. and yeah, not great, not a great finish, but still worth watching. So he gives up 2 points straight away because of double guard pull. Tries to a single leg X, misses. Gets put in this like half X guard. Gets a scoop up on the far leg, so he has control of both legs. The guy can't stand up. Goes full in. He keeps the thing. He does not good, in my opinion, isn't great here. He stays in Ashy here and turns around to get control of the leg. He does it against the finalist later on with I think more horrific results, and he manages to get the finish here. So the reason the position I don't really like here is just he went through to Ashy. To be fair, he gets told off later on because he goes to the saddle, which is also a problem. But look, he turns around here, and he gets toe hold here. Then he gets the finish. But not great leg entanglement, but we should go over the actual finishes of the grip. So I'll let it play one more time just to finish it off. So gets Ashy, he turns back, toe holds, sits all the way back, and finishes the toe hold. Okay. I don't want to skip right to the last match, but I'll show you what I mean by double outside at the end, okay? So let's just go over that quickly. And we'll feel free to ask any questions, right? Because it's basically me, I imagine them not rolling, so ask me any questions like this. I'm just going to go over toe hold finish quickly, yeah? Okay, so what happens is he manages to get single X. Yes. I did Alright, okay, we're just going over Gordon Ryan's 2015 run at IBJJF Worlds when he was a lightweight. He's a lot smaller in these videos. So I'm just going over his toe hold finish quickly first, alright? Let me show you the finish quickly. Okay, so not this one, this one. Okay. So basically this first finish is a toe hold. Let's go back. So basically he gets Ashy. Let's go back. So he gets Ashy. He sits back, gets control of the foot, and goes to toe hold here. Okay. The way the legs are entangled aren't great here, but it's still worth going over the actual finish itself. Okay. So I mean the actual finish of a toe hold itself. Okay. Because the finishes of toe holds are very, very similar to heel hooks, so it's useful to know how toe holds work if you want to start doing well with heel hooks, and also they're IBJJF legal where heel hooks are. So let's just start from the way he finishes it from here is from Ashy.
Carl, are you on mute?
From double outside, or he attempts it from double outside, okay? The main thing here, the things that are similar to heel hooks, okay, is the way you're twisting the leg, and also how we also want the knee bent, okay? There's a few finishes in toe holds where the guy's leg is completely straight, and he gets a bad break on the leg. Like what a good showing of someone's leg getting finished in a toe hold with a straight leg is Formulo versus Gaudio. There's a really, really nasty toe hold from there. But if you look at that, even his legs almost bent before the break. Okay. So just from this position, so we can be in Ashy here, or I can be in double outside, okay? And what I want to create is a bend in the knee. So I turn, I get control of the toes, like this. And now, as I create my bend, I get control of the toes. Now my other hand comes over the top of his heel, and I create a fist first, okay, to create tension. Feel tension already? Okay, so I put a fist through into this gap first to create tension. Now I can grab my own wrist, and the finish is exactly the same pressure we want to finish with in a heel hook. And that pressure is me putting weight down on the toes towards Will's butt as his heel comes up towards my head. Okay, that's the twisting motion we're creating. Toes towards butt and heel towards my head. So the same thing, I can do this fist motion through here, grab my hand, and now the motion is, look, I'm pulling my elbow up towards me with this hand, and I'm pushing his toes towards his butt with my other hand, okay? Like this, and I get a finish. Exactly the same motion when we're trying to get heel hook finishes, okay? But instead of having both hands, we've just got this one hook with the heel. It's exactly the same pressure. So say I was having we just switch around slowly, so I let go, I've got my heel, okay, I connect, and that's exactly the same pressure. I'm with my shoulder and my bicep, I'm pushing his toes towards his butt as I'm lifting his heel towards my head, okay? With heel hooks, we also add an extra pressure of me back heeling with my legs. So what I mean by back heeling is both my heels here are kicking back towards me. That creates extra pressure. Creates extra pressure here, makes it a lot tighter. And then the finish is exactly close to the toe hold. So I'm pushing his toe towards his butt. The heel is coming up and towards my head, and I'm also hipping into the side of the knee like this. And that's getting my finish. It's very similar to the toe hold, okay? The pros and cons of both positions is toe holds you can put on much quicker, okay? Like in a shootout, if I have a toe hold, I can put it on a lot quicker. And if I know my opponent's prone to tap into leg attacks, I can go for this to put pressure on quickly. It's easier for me to put a lot of pressure on a toe hold very quickly. Where in a heel hook, it takes a lot longer for me to put pressure on, but the actual damage of a heel hook is a lot worse than toe hold. Okay, so in a shootout, if you were toe holding me, maybe if my feet were brittle, you win the battle. Okay, but if I got my heel hook control, and maybe I'm a lot more durable, then I'm probably going to win because I'm going to get a break. Yeah, I'm going to get a break so I can break the knee and foot. Where toe holds usually it's going to just be the foot. Okay, so that's just the toe hold itself. And now let's move on to the next match here. Okay. My computer's being extremely dodgy today, so my bad. Okay, the reason it's good to watch Gordon Ryan's old matches as well, by the way, is because you see a lot of him, you see a lot of what he does today now. And the other thing that's good about it is he, at the same time, cut a lot of the fat away from his techniques, so he does a lot of stuff that he doesn't need to anymore. One thing that's really good in these matches is he's very good at working as a dilemma that we watched last week with Bushesha, and the dilemma of attacking for upper body sweeps, and then when the guy faces up on his legs, he's very good at going back in towards the legs. He's had a lot in this match where he's constantly working to get head pinches and shoulder crunches, and then when the guy stands up to stop that from happening and making it harder for him to sweep, he switches to lower body grips, okay? So let's watch this. So first entry we have the single leg X we were showing last week. Okay. See, and now look, you see how he goes for these shoulder crunch grips? Like he's working towards shoulder crunch grips. Goes to X, but look, he doesn't have good control of that. He doesn't have good control of that secondary leg, okay, in this position, and that's why he loses it. Because when you're controlling the closer leg, so I'll show you what fails in this quickly, okay. So look, the single leg X entry was beautiful, and then he switches to X, which is perfectly fine, but he doesn't keep good control of the leg closest to him. So look, he's going for shoulder punches here. Okay, he's got single leg X, which is why he should just stick with single leg X. But look, he has no control of the closer knee, and that's why this guy is able to escape. The guy almost passes from here. There's opportunities for that guy to pass. If he controlled the bottom leg, he could have even passed his guard. but thankfully for Gordon Ryan, he doesn't manage to pass. So look, what went wrong there is when I had X guard, okay, so he did the whole sequence of going from single leg X, he goes from single, and he goes back to. Okay, so he goes from having single leg X, okay, the guy's slightly crouched down here in general, but he goes from single leg X to X guard here, okay, and he has an underhook grip, okay, but what happens is he doesn't have control of the bottom of the leg, the foot. He doesn't have control of the foot. He has control of the knee. This is a perfect scoop grip, like as in I have control above the knee, which is what I want in X guard. I can use it to tilt him forward and stuff. That's what he probably should have been trying to do, is tilt the person forward, okay? But Will still has the ability to move his foot around in this position. So if Will now tucks his foot towards him and puts his knees to the ground, okay, I start losing the position, which is what happened here. We start getting to this position. There's lots of different ways Will can pass from here. You can pin my leg down, back step. I have my scoop grip, but it's useless now, and you can pass, okay? So when we're in X guard, here, we need a much tighter grip, as in I need control of the foot when I'm in it, okay? So what I mean by that is either I have control of his foot by having it on my shoulder and controlling his knee, or I have my straight foot lock grip. Because now if he tries to pull his leg back in, it's very, very hard. I still have control of him. And also my scoop grip, where his foot is completely on my shoulder. If he tries to pull his leg away now, it's also very hard and much more connected to him. When my shoulder comes out of this position and his leg's more on my bicep, he has a lot more maneuverability. See, I'm almost Americanaing myself being in this position. Okay. So what I need to make sure when I'm in this X guard, this leg's controlling here. So the leg that's closest, I have control of this foot with a straight foot lock grip, or at least a scoop grip that's completely on my shoulder here. Okay. And from those options, we have all the stuff we went over before, where I can go for my single leg X. So if I my single leg X, so if I go for my cannabis army, I can just do we did last time, which is straighten my legs out here, use my knee and my scoop grip to turn him to put his hands on the floor like this, and now I can switch to my reverse X that we did last week, lift up and go to my saddle position, okay? Which, if you see Gordon's later runs in like the IBJJF and his black belt runs, he does this loads basically. His like main sweep was cannabis army. I think he gets spooked because it's probably one of his earlier IBJJF matches to doing that cannabis army, because you can get DQ'd because some refs will think it's reaping and they'll just DQ you. I think when he was a black belt and he won it, it was more unlikely because of his notoriety that he was going to get DQ'd for doing that. I think one of the things. Okay, so let's look at this finish now. One sec. Look at this finish. So look, see how he's still working between getting upper body grips, getting lower body grips, upper body grips. To lower body grips, and then going to X. Still doesn't have good control of the foot, so he can't move. So he doesn't have very good control here. The guy can still keep it tight on a nice pace here. Losing control of that foot. There's opportunities for him to pose on his hip and the back step. So look, this is very good on Gordon Ryan's part here. So on that. Sorry, my computer's being slow. Okay, so look, he gets an underhook grip here. He gets control of the wrist, sorry, comes over, and now he has a control of here, has a Kimura grip here. He spins through to get armbar, realize can't get his leg over the top of his head, gets his hook in, tilts him, doesn't get his head above his head, keeps a high guard now, so the guy can't posture up, starts looking to try and get his back. He realizes he's not going to be able to really get his back, switches to Kimura, and gets an Ultra Kimura here. Okay, so there's a lot of things that happen in that sequence. A lot of stuff that Gordon does. Still, Gordon controls to make sure the guy doesn't get good position on him. So let's just go through that slowly, okay? So he gets his Kimura grip, he spins for an armbar. So let's go through this slowly, in fact, and I'll go over it. Okay, we might not be able to get through the whole run today, so he manages to get control of his forearm like this in a Kimura grip, and what he tries to do is, he comes over and tries to get his armbar control like this, and he's in this position. So he's here. He manages to get control of the arm here. And he's working to get his armbar, okay? So he's working to try and get his armbar here. He's working to get his armbar. The guy gets to keep his arms in, and he realizes his hips are not in a very good position to keep them up. He needs to be more on his shoulders, okay? So what he does is very smart here, is he keeps very high guard. His knees, his top leg stays on top of his shoulders, okay? If my legs come low here, close to his hips, even if I have a good Kimura, it's easier for Will to posture up, like this, okay? So in this position, by keeping my legs high and close to his shoulders, if Will tries to posture now, it's a lot harder, okay? Because my legs are behind his head. And now what he does to start looking for the back is what we need to win now is head height, okay? My head needs to go higher than Will's head for me to start winning this battle of taking his back, okay? If at any point Will's head's higher than mine, and I try and look for his back, I'm never going to get it because I'm too far away from him, okay? So here, he does a good thing of keeping him in a low position, so there's lots of different options for me to do here. I can completely disband the Kimura and come up onto my elbow. You see now, my head has come over Will's. So from here, with my head being his head, now it's possible for me to bring my legs low, grab onto his lap, and start looking for his back. Okay? The guy was pretty good in the position to stop anything this from happening. Also, for options from here, is I could potentially keep my Kimura grip and try and work to get my hips above his, and then start bringing my head up, and then come up, okay? This is a lot harder. So, what manages to happen, I think, he goes to try and get his back, he realizes he's not going to get it. Let's watch this one more time. Is it still on here? We can see this. I know, it's terrible. Here. Right. So he managed to get his, the guy keeps his, so look, keeps that high guard, stopping it from happening. See how Gordon's working up to his elbow to try and get his head higher. He's trying to get his head higher. He's working towards getting it, but he switches grips to the other side. The other side shoots through, and he managed to get an Ultra Kimura variation, okay? Let me try and control that. He's here. He almost has the back here, but he realizes he's going to miss. Right. He does that same sequence I was showing, okay, where he has that, with the back. Yeah, he comes up, he nearly has the back through that act of getting onto his elbow and getting his head higher than his opponent. Then he switches to the far arm, okay, and what he does here is he works towards Ultra Kimura, bringing his leg in, and he also anticipates the roll, okay. So what I mean by that is comes over and gets this position, okay. He anticipates the roll, so look, Gordon falls off and gets his hook into his hip like this, because this anticipates his roll, okay. what could happen in this position, okay? If he stays here, he can get Kimuras, okay? If he stays here also, he can get armbarred. The reason why I mean by anticipation is because his legs far through like this, if Will rolls here, he's still in a position where he gets armbarred, okay? Because I have my leg threaded through. Also from this position, he could have just switched completely to Ultra Kimura, okay? And what I mean by Ultra Kimura? What I mean by Ultra Kimura is going to. What I mean by Ultra Kimura is we have the Kimura here, but both my legs are over the top of his back, like this. And I thought comes up. Okay, so Ultra Kimura could look like this. The difference between this position, the difference between this position and the position Gordon got is you see both my legs on the back of Will. I can also, what Gordon does, sorry, is his leg is already through to his far hip, like this, okay? Where if I'm in Ultra Kimura, I'm going to have to follow the Ultra Kimura here. But with this position, with my leg through to the far hip, it's a lot easier for me to follow with an armbar. If he rolls, I'm also still with my armbar here, okay? And that's what he managed to get the finish with, is just with the Kimura itself. So let's just go through the finish one more time. So keeps up, goes onto his elbow to get head height, nearly takes the back, but he's a bit too high now. Switches to the other arm for the Kimura, throws his leg through. You see how his leg's in the far hip, and now just whips the Kimura, gets it through and gets the finish, okay? Right. Okay. I lost that second one. So the next match is against the last two matches he goes against people who are very good, okay? Or a lot better than the first two against at least. And the big battle of this next match is is him getting to Kanedasami and not being able to pass over it. He does in the end, but it's a good showing of how much Gordon Ryan's surpassed what he was back here at least. I'll show you the sequence I'm talking about. So he goes for that same hold he goes against in the first round, but this guy was smart enough to immediately escape his knee line. He gets told off now for saddle, which is very silly. But okay, so yeah, let's go back here. This is a long battle of Gordon Ryan in Kanedasami here, okay? We're in a half position. Sorry, my computer's overheating. Okay, so the ref, by the way, makes sure his leg doesn't come over. Okay, now he still sits back into the position, which is even more funny. He goes straight back to the position, but because he spun through, the ref doesn't care. He's back. Basically, he's in the exact position he got told off for. So the position originally was he was in this position and he got told off. Do you see me? You see me? Yeah. Okay. So he was originally in this position, which is exactly the same position as what he's in now, which is the exact same position but on top, and he just has a scoop grip on the near leg. Okay, this is why this position's so good. It's very hard in a passing scenario. Sorry, it's very hard now for Will to come up to his feet because I have control of both of his legs. Okay, especially if I have control of both his legs. But here he can't scoop back very easily, and it's very hard for him to stand up. I'm in a very dominant position from both his legs. What happens here? There's a long battle now of Gordon Ryan working towards getting an underhook, and also fighting to get Kimura on the opposite arm. He uses it much better later on in a match against Yuri Samoas, okay? But for now, I'll just show you what he does in this position, okay? So what he's mostly working for, I'm not going to show the whole match, it's quite long, we haven't got enough time. But what's happening most of the time during this match is Gordon Ryan is in this position, trying to not get DQ'd for stars. The options he does have from here, okay? Let me let the match play for a bit, just check the position. So it's very hard here for Silvio Duran to do much. He has control of both legs. He basically tries to push away from him most of the time, and every time Silvio tries to do anything, Gordon Ryan controls the second leg, which is basically hard for him to push off and do anything. There is options here. Silvio Duran, if he was, there is options here. Sorry, for Silvio to take his back, and also the attack that Gordon does manage to pass him off or gets points off is the Kimura. He should have also got. It's a Steeler in the same position. He's controlling the second leg most of the time, trying not to get DQ'd. He's controlling his head. What Gordon would want to happen here, or probably would have done nowadays, he would try and get an underhook on this side, on this arm. I'm not sure what I mean when I'm showing it, but he wants to get an underhook on this side. At the moment, Gordon really wants to get the far arm in a Kimura, and he does manage to. The problem with this position is that there is opportunities for. He's got the Kimura now, see, on the far arm. There is opportunities for the guy to take it back from here. So he's trying to escape his leg, using his leg to kick off to escape his leg. He wants to try and break the triangle. He's also trying to get his back. He's also trying to get his chest on Silvio Duran's back, the back of Silvio Duran's head. Control him, okay? He's still trying to escape his leg. Look, he manages to escape his leg here, turns, and then he just gets a traditional Kimura back take here. Gets his top hook in, manages to try and roll him on top, follows him, gets his top hook in, bottom hook, and he has back. Okay? Now, a much better showing of this sequence is in his match versus Yuri Smolis. Okay? So basically he's taking the back, he works for the choke here. Basically, yeah, the base of the end is just Gordon Ryan trying to work to get a finish. I don't think I'm not sure if he manages or not. I think he does. Oh, he managed to get a finish out. So. Yeah, he works for here and he gets a belly down choke, okay? The more important thing here is the sequence itself to gain the back, okay? So a much cleaner version of that was a much more of a scrappier way to take the back. A much cleaner version of that is him versus Yuri Smolis, okay? So here's him versus Yuri Smolis. Okay, so look, topside kind of Basami here. What is going on here? Topside kind of Basami. Look, Yuri comes up onto his elbow now, okay, and Gordon feeds his hand through. At this point, he has much better back exposure already. The difference between these two positions is earlier when Gordon had this leg positioning like this, okay, when he had his leg positioning like this and he was going for the far Kimura, if I managed to accidentally roll myself to the other side and he kicks my leg out, you see how now he's on my back and he starts attacking. The reason this position is a lot more superior when he's up on his elbow, okay, I already have back, my chest is already on his back, okay, which means I already have very good control to keep him facing away from me. And from here, he manages to free his leg now. Yuri manages to hurt when he takes his back from here. Okay, let me just show you the sequence that Gordon chose first. Okay, so look, he's going to free his top leg. He's going to free his leg, sorry, this core. Rolls over, sorry. Now he's going to use his other leg to free it. So the first entry, sorry, he does in this fails, and then he does the same sequence. So he's trying to free his leg now. Let me skip forward. So he does it again. Back to Kani Basami. He's already got that grip I was showing earlier. Now look, he needs to free his leg, so he kicks it off, jumps over. He's going to get his top hook in. Okay, no, he gets hooked in, sorry. He gets his hook in, gets his other hook in. And then it's the same thing. He manages to work towards choking that and taking it back. Okay. So let's just quickly go over. Let's quickly go over just sequences from top saddle in general now, okay? Okay, so top saddle in general. Okay? So what Gordon could have done in his brown ball matches here, right, is he can work to get his underhook on the far side like this. So my leg can go to the far side here, or the near side, sorry. So, okay. Now I have an underhook. It's very easy for me to go straight to a knee slice now, a very strong knee slicing position. My leg steps over, okay, and now you see I've already passed this top leg, which would be a lot of the problem in the knee slice position. If I started earlier in this knee slice position, and he had a knee in the way, this would be a big problem. Okay, if his knee was in the way, here would be a big problem for me to pass. But I skipped that step of having to get his knee out of the way because I was already past it in this kind of Islamic position. So I get my knee side underhook. Okay, this is if he's flat on his back. Or I can also, like Gordon was working the Kimura, and the guy would bring his hand through. It's very easy to switch through here and get an underhook. And I step over. I keep chest to chest. Okay, now I can get a cross face if I want. If his other hand stops me, okay, I can, instead of my hand becoming the cross face, my head becomes a cross face. My head comes next. Now he can't face towards me, okay? Now I can control his arm, and it's just a very easy motion of me kicking the top leg open, framing off the bottom, and bringing my leg out. And now I just walk my legs away from him to get perfect side control. Or without me having control his head with my head, I just have my cross face, and I do the exact same motion with my leg, which is I kick off the top one, I frame off the bottom, I bring my leg out, and I walk my legs to make his knees face away from me. And I have my normal side control. Okay? Now the last sequence, one that Gordon Ryan does, here, Yuri, to stop this, comes up on his elbow. Makes it hard for me to get good underhooks. There's also opportunities for him to get underhooks on me and start doing traditional half-pipe scoops, okay? Then from here, the way Gordon stops this is he makes sure his head is above his opponent's. In this case, I bring my head above Will's, and I make sure I'm putting chest pressure, okay? If his head's high, I can just use my hand to push his head down and bring my head above his, okay? If his arm is out, say if my hand can't fit through and grab his wrist, okay? It's out like this, I just use my free hand, push it down, switch, and get my grip here. I have my grip, okay? If I need to bring it in, I'll just pull it in, get my grip with my other arm, and I have control. Okay, so the two sequences that happen is I can either slide through here, get my grips, and start working to take his back like this. Or what happens in the match with Yuri, in the second sequence, is Yuri starts turning to get to his knees, and he also grabs Gordon's legs, or scoop grip behind, like this. So what happens here is Gordon escapes his knee because Yuri's coming up to his knees, and it's easier because he's coming to his knees for my knee to my leg to escape. So my leg, this leg, sorry, is now escaped. He uses his free hand to kick off, to bring that grip, and now he can get his hooks, he can get his head and arm, sorry, he can roll, start putting his hooks in, and taking it back, and then he works for his face pressure. Okay? So there's a lot of ways we can use that Kandi Basami to be on top and to start attacking the back and passing, alright? There's also more options, sorry, this is basically close to a knee slash position, okay? Look, I'm just controlling his leg now. As soon as my leg steps over that leg, I'm basically in a knee slash position. Okay, it's very, very close. If I sweep, if I have my Kandi Basami, sorry, and I come up to my knees, I always have all the options you would traditionally have in a knee slash position like this. Okay? The other thing I was going to say, okay. So instead of me getting underhooks, sometimes it's very hard for your opponent, for you to get underhooks on your opponent, okay? If he's flat on his back, it's easy for me to get underhooks. If he comes up to his elbow, that's when I can go for these grips. If he's just on his side, not on his elbow, like this on the side, okay? This is still hard for me to get underhooks. Okay, so from here, instead of getting an underhook, I'm going to get a fist onto his hip. Okay, so this means when I knee slice, his lower leg can't follow me, and my other hand controls his head. Okay, and this is so he can't bring his body away from me and start pushing off when I do pass. So I can get a scoop grip behind his head. I can pull him in. I can also get my elbow behind his head if I have a bigger torso. Okay? So from here, I get this grip. I step over. Now, unlike the first knee slice, where my knee goes directly forward, because I have a block on the hip, I can shoot my knee out this direction and then come back in. Okay, so with the last one, I can basically shoot my knee through and keep close and then walk back. Where with this one, it's easier for me to shoot my leg out, but his leg can't follow me, okay? So here, I follow his head, my knee shoots out, this side. Now, you would think, okay, he can bring his knee back in, but his knee can't come back in because my hand is there to block his hip, his bottom leg from following. Okay? Now, all I have to do from here is I can use this frame out with his hip, and I start moving myself to north-south. And now I have a very strong pin, and I can start working to go for femoras and stuff. My hand is still in next to his hip, so if he tries to bring his legs back in, my arm's there to stop him. And if he tries to bring his other leg back in, my head's there to also stop him. Okay? So those are a few of the major ways we can pass from topside Kanibusame. Okay? The last match, I'm not going to show it because we don't have enough time, but the last match, the final, is Gordon versus Lucas Valente, which is quite funny because the size difference now is quite ridiculous. But it's basically them going sweep for sweep, and in the last minute, Gordon was very good to stay on top. It's a good match, worth watching, but it's more sweep for sweep, and it's a lot of the similar stuff that happens in the other matches. Gordon goes for his toe hold that I was talking about at the start. Lucas Valente basically just munches it, doesn't have out, and then it's a lot of sweep for sweep stuff. Gordon does a lot of trying for shoulder crunches, going to X guard. He also makes some mistakes with the underhook X guard, like I was talking about before. Yeah, those matches. I think next week I might go over John Satava's run at ADCC trials, because that's another good one for single leg X and X guard and stuff. But does anybody have any questions before we go?
Yeah, actually, this is the positions you're talking about today. They're completely, probably either I haven't actually done them before, so they're kind of quite new to me. How do you spell the position of that?
Which one? The Kanibusame position?
Yeah. How do you spell it? Because I'm good.
Kani is just Kani, so it's Kani.
Yeah.
Basami, isn't it? Yeah. Okay. It's just Japanese for leg scissor, basically. That action of there's loads of, so it's a very wide scoping way to just call the entrance into the saddle or 411. Okay. So for instance, it's just being inside the position would just be saddle or 411 or inside Senkaku, whatever position. Lots of different names for it. Dano calls this inside Senkaku, which literally just means inside triangle because my legs are triangled inside of his legs. Okay. Some people call it the saddle because it looks like around the saddle. Okay. But the act of getting into this position is Kanibusame. Okay. So a Kanibusame would be. Okay. So Kanibusame would be from me being on top, with me be scissoring my legs. So look, my leg's in the middle, my leg comes back and I scissor. You see my leg scissor? That's the act of doing a Kanibusame. The position we showed last week, we're in X. When we're in X here, okay, reverse X. Okay, when I do this, look, this is also the act of my leg scissoring, okay, as well. So, and then also there's the traditional standing Kanibusame, which is the one that Gary gets in a lot of his matches, like Gary versus Edwin Najime, when his leg scissor does like a standing one, which is the most flashiest variation. But just think of Kanibusame as the entrance, what we traditionally call the entrances into the saddle position. Okay. So the ones we're going over today was just topside saddle and like passes off of them, and then there's also I can sit. If I was in a match where I could go back to legs, at any point when we were trying any of these passes, and Will was giving me too much problems by pushing off my chest, okay, I can immediately go back to this position and start working the legs. Okay, but because these were IBJJF matches, apart from the Kasai one, I can start going for back to legs like this. Okay.
Cool. Thank you.
Cool. Okay. Any more questions? Seb or Pete? Does Pete want to abuse the software again? No. All right. If let me know if you want me.
All good, man. Thanks.
What? Oh, no problem. Thank you very much. Okay. Next week I'll go over John Tatava stuff. If anybody wants anything different, just let me know. All right. See you later, guys. Have a good day.
You too. Take care. Bye.
See you guys.